The 2012 film adaptation of Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars is the most expensive example of why you should never judge a book by its cover. This movie starts out with a pretty cool establishing shot of Mars, or Barsoom as Edgar Rice Burroughs calls it. This walking city Zodanga is draining all of the life out of Mars, but their leader gets trapped in a sandstorm and is cornered by the good guys from Helium. For some reason, even though he's pretty much the bad guy, these technologically advanced beings give the ruler of Zodanga an all-powerful weapon made of blue wire. He uses this newfound weapon to threaten Helium, the presumed good city, into giving up Dejah Thoris' hand in marriage. Dejah Thoris is the princess of Helium. Yeah, these techie guys don't really have the ultimate good in mind, do they? Dejah escapes from this land and lands in the land of the Tharks. Did I actually write that in the script? Lands in the land of the Tharks. Okay. Yeah, so the Tharks are the guys with the 4 green arms. This is also where John Carter is. John Carter is basically a Civil War veteran who's looking for a cave of gold. He finds it after being chased off by Indians, but almost gets stabbed by a weird alien guy. He steals the poor guy's glowing blue locket and says Barsoom, instantly goes to Mars. Flops around aimlessly for a bit, just like this movie.
A few moments later.
He then gets kidnapped by a bunch of green 4-armed things, and they take the device that brought him from Earth. A lot of other stuff happens. He goes into the arena, kills 2 white apes and the leader of the green men, becomes the leader, meets the princess, goes on a journey to find his way to the Holy River to get back to his cave of gold, but is led by the princess to her home city to stop her forced marriage. He says no and goes back to the river. Fast forward through a lot of things. Dejah is about to be married to this guy, but John Carter and his goonies arrive just in time for stopping the proceedings. John Carter and Dejah are married, and John decides he doesn't want to go home and throws his device into the sands below. Then a techie suddenly throws him back to Earth. That's just about all you need to know about this movie. John Carter is not a bad movie. It certainly didn't fare well at the box office, which I'll talk about later, but at least it didn't descend to the truly awful filmmaking quality of a certain Disney franchise. I enjoyed this movie when I saw it, and again, it wasn't a bad movie in the slightest, which makes John Carter's box office record very mysterious. Disney spent a whopping $307 million on producing the movie they hoped would reach upwards of $660 million in box office earnings. As attested to by the fact you most likely haven't seen this film, Disney's dreams of John Carter reaching stardom were dashed by the meager funds it brought in. Worldwide, John Carter made only $284 million, promptly handing Disney an incredible loss of 200 million Disney bucks. I found this incredible when I first read it, simply because John Carter is a good movie that does not deserve any number remotely near the ballpark of the losses it accumulated. So the question that rises out of all of this is simply, how did this happen? I did a little bit of digging and found that almost every source on the web gives the primary reason for John Carter's massive flop as just a general ignorance on the audience's part of who this John Carter guy is. The majority of the target audience for this movie couldn't be expected to know the source material enough to realize that the name John Carter has anything to do with Mars. For all they know, John Carter could be a detective working in the seedy underbelly of Chicago. So why couldn't they just add "of Mars" to the title? The original title was Princess of Mars, which was the title of Edgar Rice Burroughs' first novel in the John Carter series, and the novel that the film was based off of. But director Andrew Stanton scrapped the title because he thought that boys wouldn't want to see the movie if it had princess in the title. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one and say that it was a good decision when he changed the title from Princess of Mars to John Carter of Mars. However, Stanton made a no-good, very bad decision when he changed the title to the one we have today, just the simple John Carter. Boring! What would be the reasoning behind this? Disney's second worst performing movie is Mars Needs Moms, which I haven't ever seen, and it came out only a year before John Carter. Even though I'm all for judging a movie after I've seen it, Mars Needs Moms looks pretty weird. It's got that Polar Express style of animation, you know, the kind that's so realistic looking that it's creepy. I gotta admit, I wouldn't really be too excited to see this movie, and obviously the target audience for this movie wasn't either. The point is, Disney wanted to withhold Mars from the title to make sure John Carter had no association with their biggest flop at that time. This reasoning doesn't justify the boring final title by a long shot, but at least it's better than Andrew Stanton's personal reasons for the second title change. According to Stanton, just like boys wouldn't like princess in the title, girls apparently don't like movies with names of planets in the title. This is his reason for changing it? I mean, maybe there's some deep underlying hate that all females have towards planets that I don't know about, but I'm pretty sure that keeping Of Mars in the title would have only helped the movie's reception among guys and girls alike. It's a lot better than just John Carter. In fact, Princess of Mars is probably a better title than just John Carter. We can definitely say that the second title change was a major detriment to the film as a whole. So much of a detriment, in fact, that a well-made sci-fi flick bombed mostly because of its generic title.
I like to think it was a match made in the cosmos.
Yeah, me too, Andrew, me too. I could go more in depth into why a relatively good movie like John Carter caused a $200 million loss for Disney, but I feel like I've addressed pretty much all of the main slip-ups that caused it to bomb. It's a good movie, not life-changing, but good. The story might have been a little boring and generic, but there are only a few films that managed to be completely revolutionary. The story of John Carter is especially sad, though, because time and effort are apparent in many aspects of the film, and a simple name change may have been all that kept it from reaching stardom.